Adopt Me's dark history didn't appear overnight. It developed slowly, quietly, and almost invisibly, which is exactly why it became so dangerous. When the game first launched, it was intentionally simple. Players role-played families, adopted babies, decorated homes, and interacted casually. There was no pressure to compete. No leaderboard, no sense that anyone was falling behind. Then pets were introduced. At first, pets felt harmless. They were companions, not currency. But the moment rarity entered the system, everything changed. Some pets became harder to obtain, others were locked behind limited events. Players began comparing inventories. The idea of value entered the community, and once value exists, inequality follows. Children started measuring themselves against others based on what they owned. A rare pet stopped being cosmetic and became proof of dedication, luck, and status. This psychological shift is where Adopt Me truly changed. Players stopped playing for fun and started playing to avoid being left behind. Soon after, real-world money entered the equation. Pets were sold on third-party platforms. Children unknowingly participated in an unregulated digital economy. Scammers thrived in this environment because they understood one thing very well. Trust is easy to exploit when the audience is young. Trust trades, doubling scams, impersonation, phishing links. They all became normalized. Victims didn't just lose items. They lost time, effort, and emotional attachment. Many players cried, many quit, others blamed themselves. Adopt Me never intended this outcome, but it quietly became one of the most emotionally damaging games on Roblox. Meep City was Roblox's first massive social world. It wasn't built around gameplay progression. It was built around presence. You logged in to talk, dance, attend parties, and feel like you were part of something bigger. For many players, Meep City was their first online social space. That's what made it dangerous. As the player count exploded, the game's systems were pushed beyond what they were designed to handle. Private parties created enclosed spaces invisible to moderation. Animations, emotes, and furniture placement were used to imply things that couldn't be said in chat. Behavior didn't need to be explicit to be inappropriate. The problem wasn't obvious. It didn't look like chaos. It looked like normal gameplay. That made it harder to detect and easier to ignore. Older players noticed first, then parents. Eventually, Roblox did too. Entire systems were disabled, a drastic and rare response. Meep City didn't become dark because of malicious intent. It became dark because it proved that social freedom without strict boundaries will always be abused, especially when most users are children. Jailbreak's darkness is rooted in competition turning into obsession. From its earliest versions, the game rewarded speed, efficiency, and domination. Players weren't just playing, they were racing. Who could rob faster, escape quicker, control the server? That environment created pressure. Pressure attracts exploiters. Scripts gave players impossible advantages. Teleporting across the map, auto-robbing banks, escaping prison instantly. Legitimate skill stopped mattering, trust collapsed. Every skilled player was suspected of cheating. Accusations flooded chat, developers fought back constantly, but Jailbreak became an arms race. Hackers weren't there to play, they were there to win at any cost. The result was paranoia and frustration, a community that no longer trusted itself. Jailbreak didn't fail, it survived, but it was permanently changed. Its dark history shows how competition without safeguards slowly erodes fairness and community trust. Brookhaven RP's darkness is almost invisible. The town is clean, quiet, and peaceful. There are no weapons, no enemies, no chaos. Parents see safety. Moderators see normal gameplay. But Brookhaven offers absolute freedom. No objectives, no structure, no guidance. Players learned how to bypass filters using coded language, gestures, and animations. Private homes became closed environments where anything could be role-played without outside visibility. The danger is subtle, nothing looks wrong, that's what makes it persistent. Brookhaven proves that the most unsettling spaces don't look scary, they look normal, and normality hides everything. Work at a pizza place is unsettling, not because of what happens in it, but because of what doesn't. The game feels frozen in time. It was created during an era when Roblox itself was still experimental, when systems were simple and polish wasn't a priority. Over the years, while Roblox evolved rapidly, this game stayed almost exactly the same. NPCs move strangely. Some paths lead into empty darkness. Music loops endlessly without variation. During low player counts, the restaurant feels eerily quiet. Ovens running, doors opening, no one speaking. It creates a liminal atmosphere, the feeling of being in a place that was once alive but no longer is. Players began noticing these details late at night, deliveries into empty suburbs, NPCs staring forward without reacting, glitches that were never fixed because the game no longer needed attention. Over time, these moments became stories, not official lore but community memory. This is where Roblox's earliest urban legends were born. Work at a pizza place represents something rare, a game that unintentionally became unsettling simply by being abandoned. Its darkness is quiet, nostalgic, and deeply psychological. It reminds players that not all fear comes from danger. Sometimes it comes from emptiness. Royale High's dark side isn't hidden in glitches or exploits, it's buried in disappointment. When the game first gained popularity, it felt like a true escape. A fantasy world where players could socialize, roleplay, and feel special without pressure. Progression felt natural, rewards felt fair. As time passed, the game changed, systems became more complex. Grinding increased dramatically. Rare items became locked behind long, repetitive play sessions or limited-time events. For casual players, the gap between new and veteran players widened. What was once magical slowly became exhausting. Community trust began to fracture. Moderation decisions felt inconsistent. Some players lost access to accounts filled with rare items with little explanation. Communication from developers felt distant or delayed. Social media and Discord became battlegrounds of frustration. Royale High didn't collapse, it transformed into something heavier. Its darkness comes from emotional burnout. From players realizing that the world they escaped into now demanded more than it gave back. It's a story about how fantasy fades when obligation replaces joy. Murder Mystery 2 began as a simple social game built on tension and deduction. Who can you trust? Who is lying? The thrill came from uncertainty. But as the game evolved, something else began to dominate: rarity. Rare knives and guns became more important than winning rounds. Players stopped caring about deduction and started caring about inventory. Trading hubs replaced gameplay servers. Status was no longer based on skill, it was based on ownership. This shift changed player behavior entirely. New players became targets. Pressure tactics became normal. Some trades felt closer to gambling than fair exchange. Losing an item hurt more than losing a match ever could. The atmosphere grew hostile. Accusations of scamming filled chat, trust vanished. The original mystery, the heart of the game, slowly disappeared. Murder Mystery 2 didn't die. It hollowed itself out, leaving behind a competitive shell driven by obsession rather than fun. Natural disaster survival is one of Roblox's most important historical artifacts, not because of its gameplay, but because of what it exposed. The game was simple by design. Survive disasters, learn patterns, adapt, but that simplicity made it vulnerable. Exploiters quickly learned they could break the game, flying above disasters using God mode, manipulating physics. Entire servers were ruined in seconds. Legitimate players had no protection, no way to fight back. This wasn't just a problem with one game, it was a glimpse into early Roblox itself. Moderation tools were limited. Security systems were underdeveloped. Developers were learning in real time. Natural disaster survival's darkness lies in vulnerability. It shows what happens when creativity outpaces protection. It's a reminder that Roblox's massive success was built on years of trial, error, and exposure.